Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Wise as a Serpent. Well, this is Bishop Ray Taylor, Doctor of Religious Studies, PhD, whatever you want to call me. Just don't call me late for dinner. Zionist influence in the United States. Let's take a scholarly look. The influence of Zionist groups in the United States of America, particularly in relation to our foreign policy and media representation, is a significant topic of debate. The examination aims to explore the various dimensions of its influence, assessing the extent to which it aligns with claims to control, and considering the broader historical, political, and social context. Stick with us. How do interest groups and lobbying efforts shape U.S. foreign policy? How do the ethical implications of these influences? The relationship between the United States and Zionist organizations have deep historical roots since the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948. American support for Israel has been a cornerstone of U.S. foreign policy. This support has been driven by a combination of strategic interests, political alliances, and cultural ties. The U.S. has historically viewed Israel as a key ally in the Middle East, a region of strategic importance. This alliance has been underpinned by shared democratic values and mutual security interests. Cultural and religious ties. Many Americans, particularly within the Christian evangelical community, feel a religious and cultural connection to Israel. This connection often translates into political support for pro-Israel policies. How do historical and cultural ties influence contemporary political alliances? Zionist organizations, most notably American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC, have been highly effective in lobbying pro-Israel policies in the United States Congress. The influence is seen in various aspects of U.S. foreign policy decisions, including military aid to Israel, diplomatic support in international forums. AIPAC and other pro-Israel groups have a robust presence in Washington, advocating for policies that favor Israel. They organize conferences, meet lawmakers, and mobilize constituents to influence legislative decisions. Pro-Israel political action committees, PACs, and individual donors contribute significantly to political campaigns. This financial support can sway politicians to adopt pro-Israel positions. Just take a look at our Congress. What are the ethical considerations of lobbying and political contributions in shaping our foreign policy? What is that? The portrayal of Israel and Palestinian issues in American media, area where Zionist influence is often cited. Critics argue that media tends to present a pro-Israel bias, marginalizing Palestinian perspectives and public opinion in favor of Israel. Media ownership and influence. Now that's a good one right there. Some media outlets are influenced by individuals and organizations that support Israel. This can result in biased reporting and selective coverage of news events. Of course it can. Just like those pictures of the people that Biden said he saw and he lied. Okay? And the media covers up. Well, they're mainly owned by Israelis or pro-Zionists. I mean, that's where we're at. Let's take a look now at the framing and narrative control. The news stories has a significantly impact public perception. Pro-Israel narratives often emphasize Israel's security concerns while downplaying Palestinian suffering and grievances. They do. Of course. What else can? How does the media framing influence public perception and policy debates? Oh my God, with everything in it. Let's take a look. There is evidence of significant Zion influence in U.S. politics and media. It is crucial to recognize the complexities and avoid oversimplified conclusions. Several counterarguments and factors complicate the narrative. Diverse Jewish opinions. The Jewish community in the United States is not monolithic. Many American Jews hold diverse views on Israel and U.S. foreign policy, while some organizations advocating for Palestinian rights and a two-state solution. Other influences. U.S. foreign policy is shaped by a multitude of factors, including strategic interests, geopolitical considerations, and relationship with the Middle Eastern countries. Ethical and democratic processes. Lobbying and advocacy are part of the democratic process. While they can lead to disproportionate influences, they are also a means for various groups to participate in policymaking. How do diverse opinions within a community impact the perception of that community's influence on policy? Well, in conclusion to this, influence of Zionist groups in the United States is a complex and it is multifaceted issue. While there is substantial evidence for their impact on U.S. foreign policy and media representation, it is essential to consider the broader context and multiple perspectives. Understanding this influence requires a nuanced analysis that acknowledges historical ties, political strategies, and the diversity of opinions within the Jewish community and beyond. How can a nuanced understanding of influence and advocacy improve our analysis of foreign policy and media representation? I will leave the references in the description. But what I'd like to do is touch on a few more issues that I did not have on here, if at all possible. First, I'd like to touch on is the Zionist, okay, in America. Many of these people who call themselves patriots, and I have a hat on, my patriotic hat here, and a Free Palestine t-shirt, free Palestine. Unless you take a biblical perspective, most of these people do, and no critical thought whatsoever in their mind, you would see that these people are suffering from our tax dollars, from their Federal Reserve, which is federal as Federal Express. It's just a name. It's a privately owned bank. And believe me, it's Zionist controlled, just like the IMF, International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank. And since that is, they could just print money and give it to our politicians, which I'm not going to name any right now because that would be slander, and I'm not going to slander them at all. I'm going to have evidence that shows that Zionism is racism. Now, if you watch videos, the Jews over there, they think they're chosen by a god, a tribal god, an ancient deity, tribal deity. It's not God Almighty, or any of that. It's a tribal deity. My daddy, get your daddy up type of nonsense, if you want to know the truth. But it is what it is, okay? And many Americans, they turn a blind eye. They just want to see it. They think, well, it's like a dog. Dogs. You're a dog too, Goyim. They call you Shabbos Goyim. So in their Talmud, you're a dog. Jesus, in fact, in the mock story, the fake stories, I believe in Matthew, I could be wrong, he said that you're a dog. He told the Samaritan woman, influenced. And she says, doesn't even dogs get crumbs from the master's table? Well, that's not how it works. That was a fake story. It was invented, okay? And that's how they feel about you. You're just to be used and abused, thrown to the wolves, or whatever the case may be. You could stand, you could sit here and you think I'm crazy. But you have to have heart. You have to take that desensitization and become sensitized to the feelings of others, little babies, little children, women, innocent men, okay, that are in right now slaughtered because Israel is chasing down Hamas. Well, everyone's Hamas over there to them. And it's coming out. Of course, CBN, Christian Broadcasting Network, all this, they're not pushing it. They're not showing it. Well, let's take one more look here. Who's indigenous to that region? It surely isn't the Ashkenazi Jews. The Ashkenazi Jews are not Palestinian or not Middle Eastern descent. They are, in fact, of Eastern European descent, Polish, Ukrainian, and they have no ties to the Middle East whatsoever. Okay, but they're there, and they think their religion makes them Semites. It doesn't. The Semites that are there are the Palestinian people. They are. They are the Semites. What do you think? Do you think that you can lie and pretend and counterfeit? No. The Palestinian people are the Semites. They would have been the Jews that you call Jews that live in Judea, and they live in Judea now, so they would be Jews. That's right in our modern interpretation of the Yehudite. I can go through the whole thing with you. But we must stand up against the Israeli lobby, against AIPAC, and this misuse of anti-Semitism. And, they'll pass any laws. All of our congressmen, all of them, just about all of them, 90% are in the pocket of the Israeli lobby. Why not? They control the Federal Reserve Bank. What else can we do? Not me. I stand for freedom for all. I'm an American first. And I stand for all of our amendments. I stand for them. I fight for them. I hope you will too. Thank you so much. And stay wise as a serpent.